We're talking about the heart, the mind, and emotions deep inside. Dr. E's got the formula to make emotions come alive.
Hey viewers, we're picking up the episode where we left off in the last episode and hope you enjoy the continuation of this. So here we go. Yeah. So now we're moving on to another. This is a fun song. This next song that's coming up next is about stupid and failure. Now you'll hear it's called "Stupid's Little Bro Grandmaster Failure." So again, it teaches about the value of emotions and the relationships. To me, I always say that stupid equals failure times X. So stupid is the little brother of failure, yet he has a very, as you'll hear, a very lofty seat. He has a very powerful place in our being because of what role stupid plays, which is really, again, to help us see we've experienced failure multiple times. Therefore, there's many things to learn from. So let's go ahead and cut to this one, and let's see what you think about this genre.
Failure whispers softly in my ear, tells me, son, it's time to start again. Stupid grins and offers me a chair. No shame in falling if you learn from pain. Guilt shakes hands with every doubt I meet. Inadequacy reeks of perfume sweet. Mistakes piling higher every week. Stupid watches from its lofty seat. But stupid's just a teacher with a crooked smile. Helps me navigate the cutting trials. Failure's just a brother, but worth the while. Will remind me I've got miles and miles.
What do you think, Andrew?
So this, wow, I'm trying to place the genre. It feels a little 90s to me. It almost feels like The Offspring. Are you familiar with The Offspring?
Yeah. I can't think of any of their songs, but I have heard of them.
Offspring. What's their main song? It'll come to me. But they're sort of like a rock rap, hybrid. They were one of the
I loved how it mixed in the Japanese. That was what the algorithm mixed in that Japanese theme to them, which
I didn't catch that. What was that?
The beginning songs were like absolutely had Japanese theme to it. The note ding 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 ding.
Oh, that's
Japanese.
Okay. Yeah, interesting.
So I loved how it blended that in there, and what it did with that is, to me, just crazy what this does.
Yeah, that little part right there, right? It's some sort of stringed instrument, right?
Yeah, but as you see her make, again, this is a lighter version of a song about how stupid's the teacher with the crooked smile, saying, hey, you guys got to learn, and that's kind of how I do kind of visualize some of these emotions. Like, why aren't you learning from this? Don't you see my purpose? Don't you see my value? Even when he says in the beginning, stupid offers him a chair, says, yeah, sit down and let's talk. So there's a lot of subtle metaphor and obvious metaphor in there that and analogies and teaching tools to really see how can we see these emotions in our life and what can we do with them to really help us learn and grow.
Yeah. And as far as, I mean, there's these relationships, these almost familial relationships is a theme I'm seeing here in these songs. And and I guess that is sort of how they go, right? They almost
well, yeah, because even when I talk about, you can experience guilt without feeling shame, because if you've wronged somebody else, then you've done something to yourself you need to fix. And also, if you're going to experience guilt and shame, you're always going to experience failure, because failure says it's time to learn. So, and then with failure, if you feel guilty for multiple things, guess what? There's going to come stupid. So even though, I call guilt and shame directly brothers and stupid and failure directly brothers, these are the things I'm using to teach kids about emotions and their purpose, adults about emotions and their purpose, to see, oh, like I said about failure, or I'm sorry, about helplessness and hopelessness before. Helplessness is the core emotion of anxiety, which is fear-based, and hopelessness is the core emotion of depression, which is pain-based. And the more you feel helpless, the more likely you are to feel hopeless. So that's where these relationships to me are critical to understanding. And music is a great way. I mean, look at Sesame Street, you know, how many things did we learn from Sesame Street through song, you know?
Yeah.
Whether it's guess which one doesn't look like the other, or you know, accidents happen, you know, things like that. So a lot of great teaching songs that we take with us, they become the earworms.
Exactly. I was just going to say that. Yeah. That is a power that you just can't get from other media.
Yep, yep. So now we're moving on to songs created to help other people see their issues in life. These are ones that I've helped people to create for them to say, does this sound like you? Does this feel like you? And this next song coming up, I played it for a friend of mine. I created it with somebody, reworked it, played with it, and I played it for this other person, and they were just literally in tears hearing it. And they said, I knew what I felt like, but you just captured it. So let's go and hit this next song here and see where it takes us. And for a lot of parents, this is how your teenagers might be feeling.
Fire's rising in my chest, I can't contain it. Fingers trembling, fists tight, can't explain it. The walls I've built, they're made of fire like shields. They keep me safe, but I can't truly heal. Let it burn, let it fade, this pain I hide. Anger's armor, but it's keeping me warm inside. How can I trust when every wound seems so painful to feel? Teach me to let go, so my heart can finally heal.
So again, powerful words in that one. I think you know, this is my genre. This is, I could listen to music like this all day long. So
This is like, it sounds to me like late 90s alternative, or even like post alternative.
it's a metal. It's
metal, really.
Yeah, it's a metal. Yeah, it's not heavy metal, but it is a metal,
It's
rock metal.
Yeah, it's definitely the heaviest song I think we've listened to. Yeah.
But even as we're looking underneath, there's a trembling child unseen, afraid of breaking open, afraid of being seen as weak. So these are the things I want to teach about what's hiding behind almost anybody who shows this anger, this rage, this hatred comes out, are the protective purpose of those emotions, and to look inside. So anger is fierce, but it shuns every vulnerable side. So this is about teaching people about when people are showing these emotions, look beneath the surface, look at what's behind. And here's the lines I really wanted to come through. So that's the payoff in the song. Like I said, every song I write, I want to have an unfolding, a lesson, a denouement, a thing, and really seeing that so many people believe that their family's supposed to be perfect, their world's supposed to be perfect, and it's not. It's not faith in a perfect world. It's often faith that somebody can hear us, and that's where, again, when I played this for the friend of mine, and they were just in tears. They're like, "You get it." That's all they wanted growing up. That's where in their family they felt multiple betrayals and multiple hurts, multiple losses, and time after time after time, and they just didn't know how to heal or feel safe enough to heal. And that is so many people's lives that I want for people to be able to play these and say, I see myself in there. I found myself in there, and there is hope. There is opportunity for healing.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about that lyric, let it burn, let it fade? And then I think later on it was let it burn, let it pale. What are you sort of getting at there?
Well, I think the idea that we feel so helpless about our anger, in order to understand our emotions as anger, rage, and hatred that people see are destructive, it's important to let ourselves to feel it. And as we feel it and we embrace it and we understand it, it fades, it heals, but we want to understand what's behind the anger. You don't heal anger by tackling anger head on. You heal the anger by addressing the emotions underneath by getting to the loss of faith, the loss of trust, the lack of belief, the fear that's behind it, the shame, the guilt, the failure, all those emotions that, as I said, many times feel bad and wrong and weak. And when we can understand that anger is there to help us to look strong, doesn't care about good and right, it just wants to look strong to protect us. When we shift what we're trying to protect inside, then often the anger will subside. It will fade. It will soften. And then even anger can feel understood.
But what about the let it burn part? Is that like a stage of anger? You got to just let it burn and like.
Well, it's kind of a seething anger. I think in
I'm,
any
seeing-
time,
I'm seeing an image of like a whole city going up in flames.
I'm seeing a
Oh,
phoenix
rising from the ashes. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I see. I don't see.
Okay.
See, the issue is, and that's where interpretation of that.
Yeah.
Are you saying that I should let my kid blow everything up and burn everything, burn it down? No, it's know that anger is burning, and it's something that we need to look at. And sometimes people do, kids do, teens do, adults do want to burn everything down at one part of them, especially when we get to rage, because rage protects us when we feel in fear of our life and our integrity feels threatened. And hatred wants to push us away from things that have caused us pain, are causing us pain, and or could cause us pain. So both of those at those extreme levels can lead us to wanting to destroy. And when we get to that place of wanting to seek destruction, that's often where it can also become self-destructive. So I want to help people see, this is how I feel. I want to let it burn. And as I look beneath the surface and I find those answers, I find another way to find resolution.
Interesting. And now I'm also thinking too, now that you're saying this, I'm picturing less of a gigantic blaze and more of just, when you're watching a fire burn down to the very end, it's just like those embers still burning,
Yeah,
just
it's
let
just
it burn out almost,
Anger often seethes, rage often seethes, hatred often seethes. And that's why seething is a derivative even of those emotions. And it's kind of plays into all three emotions and how we express it. But it's one that often we don't feel safe expressing, yet it's in there. It's always there. I'm here. Just call on me, So I think if we understand again how those relationships play out within us, and we can do it through music, and I'd even welcome people and love people. They want to go to Suno or other song generators and create a song and share it. I'd love for people to share their songs and their created songs and to learn how to work. I'd love for people to say, hey, can we work on a song together? I've been trying to put these ideas together, because that's what I did with the friend who, really was in tears to the Let It Burn song. They wanted to create a song about their growing up, and they said, will you help me? And I'm like, absolutely. So we created a version first, and now I said, now you work on the lyrics. And I checked in with them. They're like, well, I'm still stuck on it. I said, okay, then let's sit down and let's work on the lyrics and let's help you bring it together. Because again, that's where a lot of my writing ability and understanding emotions, and I have ways to put a lot of these emotions to words that people often have a hard time really grasping and seeing how to be able to do that, and really show the picture. There, I'll tease a song that'll be coming out in the channel soon. It's called The Toy Soldier. And in that song, there are a number of different metaphors that are combined into that song, from obviously a soldier and a kid who's wounded inside the adult. And I won't give away the other metaphors, but I've had people listen that say, you're throwing a lot in there. I said, right, because I want people to see the context of how someone can have all these different beliefs and metaphors and analogies for different parts of their life that even can come from one part of us or many parts of us. So that's the idea of some of these songs have mixed metaphors and multiple metaphors in the lyrics to help people really find different segments of themselves in the overall song.
Now, Dr. E, you've mentioned the music channel a few times now. When is it going to launch? Do you have a launch date yet?
Well, the goal is that the day that this video launches, that I'll debut that video. We'll have the link in the description.
So it's launching today.
If
there
you
you
watch
go.
Today, yeah, and or if you watched it after, it's up there. So the link, we'll put the link in the description. Also, what my team is going to do, they're going to start linking the songs that tie to different episodes that we may have had or that we will have, they're going to tie those links into the descriptions so people can go to that music channel. And like I said, I really want this to be something that we're all able to interact with over time, bringing songs to it if they wish. And I want them to be, either originals, they can be songs they created on AI if they want to share them. And that way this is working. I want this to be a community. It's not just Dr. E. This isn't just for me. It's for the we. And that's what I teach through equity. And I hope that we can help it grow over the years. If you're watching this 5 years after this is aired, then I hope that you'll see thousands of songs on the channel and be enjoying it with everybody and bring your own gifts to that.
Very good.
So let's hit the next song.
Yeah.
This next song is about grief. It's I had a person who lost their someone in their family, and they were not working through the grief. And I put this I created it with them and then reworked it afterwards. Again, I'm doing that with all these just to make sure that it is original work in that way, shared from people's experiences. But that what it wrote it from was the perspective of the person that graduated from life, as if they were trying to reach this person who was holding on to the grief. And that just blew me away when that happened with how the lyrics were generated. And then as I reworked it, bringing more of that into it. So this is not a song. I want to be very careful, as people may hear these songs about how I might view death. I view death as a graduation from life. This is not an opportunity for someone to say, oh, death is a graduation, I can end my life. No. To me, the graduation of life is between creator and when your time has come, not through a choice of your own doing. I am not an advocate of suicide. And I want to be clear about that this song is not about suicide. Why people could hear what they may hear, I know that I want to make it very clear that this is not what that song is about. So let's go ahead and open up with this and see where this song takes you. And for those with grief, I hope this helps.
Death's a graduation, it's so surreal. No more pain, no more guilt, no shame. See me in my light, not in your brain. Let me love you in my own way, not as you want me, no, not today. I am transformed, I am healed inside. No longer running, I refuse to hide. Let me love you in my own way, not as you want me, no, not today. I am transformed, I am healed inside. No longer running, I refuse to hide. See me standing, see me strong. Healing's course is my lifelong song. Let me love you how I know. In this new light, watch me grow.
So again, it was amazing. Granted, AI doesn't understand a person who's live or dead. They understand it understands concepts, and it takes those concepts and puts them into this. But this song literally resulted in a transformation for this individual in their grief, that I've been trying to help them to see an expanded view of life and death and grief in their process, because I believe that as long as we hold on to pain, we often hold on to grief, and that those who leave us, from my own experience of loss from my brother, do not want us to experience the pain of their loss. They want to experience the transformation, to me, of their being, of their existence. And grief is our own personal process. So I'm not telling how to grieve, when to grieve, how long to grieve. That is each person's own individual process. And often we have to look at the other emotions that come with it. And this was a song to really help people take an expanded view of how they see that person and where that person may be and how they might be loving them in totally different ways than they have a difficult time seeing, and to see them how maybe they want to be seen.
Yeah, I see the vocals in this. I thought was really interesting. I was catching notes of like Phil Collins or something, old school Genesis maybe. I don't know if that's what you were going for genre wise or what the genre was on here, but it was an interesting
No, it was really just, again, kind of a soft rock. I wanted
Yeah.
something slower, something, and that's where any song generation company has to AI song generator has to be very careful not to take suggestions on singers, tones, voices, things like that, because again, that could be seen as infringement. And
Right.
there are legal cases going on with some of these companies saying that they've, they scraped all their music and are using it all. And any music artist is going to have scraped songs from other artists that shape the way that they created music. There's people say there is no original thought. Well, you know, there's music that feels original, and is it truly original music? So I think, and looking at that, not defending these AI companies or anything, I just think we want to look at that. I use this as a tool to help people to heal, to help them to grow. I see it as a great way for people who couldn't create music on their own to be able to create ways to express themselves and communicate to themselves and others, reach people they wouldn't normally have been able to reach, and to just share this joy for all these different types of music, all these different ways we can share parts of ourselves and experiences.
Yeah, it's an interesting sort of channel that it opens up to people. Really, if you think the people that are musically talented enough to write a song like that and record it and produce it and all that sort of stuff there's it's a narrow channel, but this widens it certainly. Really cool to see what you've done with that.
Absolutely. So now, this is a song now it can teach about concepts too. So this is a song about faith and how I view faith. And there's all truth, integrity, honor to me. Those aren't necessary emotions. They're concepts that add to emotions, that moderate emotions. So that's where I look at the relationships between concepts we have in our life and their influence on emotions. Passion, I would say, is an intensifier. It's a moderator. We often think of passion when we think about love. But passion, to me, you can feel passionate hate, passionate rage, passionate fear. It's the way those modify emotions. So even faith, as we're going to see here, but this is one that I used. I'm going to play two genres of the same song. So you're going to hear the difference in how each of them communicates the emotion. And I wanted faith to be a light concept, and because you'll see the words in this. So let's go ahead and get to this next one and see what you think.
Faith was wrested from the essence of fear, which created great disruptions throughout the heavens, far and near, contributing to the unfolding of helpless confusion and doubt. And would the many believe they could figure this divine mystery out? While faith holds her lantern, glowing soft, warm, and bright, through shadows deep and wide, she wields her unyielding light, bridging the vast gap between where fear and truth may lie. A flickering guide on her path is where many great lessons hide. The light of faith, she dances and she sways, showing pathways home to love through a seeming elusive haze. And twisted hands and minds have often misused her golden beam, turning hope and trust into what has often felt like a tangled dream.
All right. So here, what am I talking about? Faith. Again, faith. I think faith is horribly abused and misused. I think it's why people have such a hard time with trust and truth. And that's where I literally see faith as this light that shines between fear and absolute truth. So in the beginning, imagine that you had fear that felt absolute faith. It wouldn't be disrupted. So this whole concept that our fear potentially comes from the ability for fear to say, you know what, I'm going to take faith for me and I'm going to disconnect myself from it. And as I find my way to truth, through the value of every emotion. And I see that faith shines off of everything between truth and fear. There's a lot of people are going to find their convenient faith, their blind faith. They're going to find things on the way that they think are truth that are not truth, that they just think, well, this is what guided me here. And I think I always want people, I always want people to seek a deeper truth, to look beyond, and to see all the different ways that faith has been misused and abused through time. And that's what this song really talks about, is taking it a little further than, even saying, what faith are you in religion? No, that's what religion are you, not what faith. Faith is the concept that is there as a teacher. It's not the religion. It's the concept we're trying to learn, often through religion. But to me, it's about learning personal faith and faith in self.
Now, that genre was reggae.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very curious to see what a different genre, and I don't know which one it's going to be here, but I'm curious to see what a different genre does to this song.
Yeah, and as you can see, the reggae was really to kind of make it fun and light, to make it, because I didn't want it to be so serious. And faith to me isn't necessarily have to be serious. I literally, when I envision faith, I envision a little girl holding this lantern and shaking this lantern for everybody to come towards, and that light that you can't see, but you see it bounce off of whatever it bounces onto. But that faith is for us too.
Dr. E, I can tell you were not raised Catholic.
I did go to a Catholic school. So I grew up Lutheran, went to a Catholic school, took a class on Judaism, read books on Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, native religions all around the world. So yeah, I'm a student of many religions to find my spirit.
Yes, but I can tell you're not raised Catholic, because I think those who are raised Catholic, I don't know, my mind, when you say the word faith, I see Jesus hanging on the cross.
Mm-hmm. Well, and again, that's part of finding faith, that faith that Jesus had to have, to go through this process that was for everyone, to me, including his growth, including his experience. And that's where I think we want to be careful how we allow ourselves to judge others through their journey towards faith and truth.
Yeah. Okay, so let's hear the next genre.
All right, here we go.
Were we ever promised a simple pathway to healing and to love? Or is the journey best traveled embracing challenges from below and above? Her light is reflecting off of every object between truth and fear. Is she asking us to seek discernment from what we may see, feel, and hear? But oh, how some have stolen her glow for the purpose of deceit, evoking betrayal, mistrust, and shame because of the other's conceit. Not sure what to believe with all of the lies that we've been told. And where should we find faith's purpose, if not from deep within our soul? The light of faith, she dances and she sways, challenging us to find connection to truth and love's way. Perhaps we should ask why we have been gifted with the teacher of sin, because locked in our imperfections lies perfection deep within.
A little bit of salsa there.
A little bit. I'm just picturing a whole dance floor. Like my wife and I love to dance and stuff, and I could picture us on the dance floor with all these people just hearing that song. And so, again, the lines, she dances and she sways, when the song was created, and I might have written that song too, because I wanted to get that idea of how faith moves through everything and weaves her way through those waves of light to me as I see it. I thought of salsa, and I thought of dancing and moving, and just the theme of that. So again, different ways to reach people through this.
Even the different music and the different melody, I think, puts an emphasis on different lyrics. Different lyrics popped out in this version than in the first version to me.
Yes, and that's where, like I said, on that Toy Soldier song coming up, the three genres were hip hop, kind of a soft rock, and then country. So, and each of them, like I said, hit people when they heard it. They hit them totally different ways, as well as other songs that came out in multiple genres. So, It's been fun. And it's, again, this is one of my favorite songs, The Light of Faith, and the two genres together. You really see how they do bring up different emotions, feelings, impressions,
Yeah.
So
I can tell you're enjoying it, and it seems to me like a really different sort of creative outlet for you.
It is, and it has been, and I hope it's a way that, again, and my goal is to reach people in whatever way I can, knowing that just by sitting in the office, just one way, that's why I go out and I throw the football and play darts and take kids, take people to this old train station to talk about that metaphor in life of, are we waiting for the train to come, or are we watching it by? There's so many different ways and tools to teach people.
Fascinating. And yes, a different way to reach people for sure. And music, like we were talking about at the beginning, just has that way of connecting with people that other forms of communication don't quite have.
Yeah. I mean, in many ways, it's an international language, because there are many people who go to concerts for artists who don't even speak their language. And it's just the music, the feel, the energy.
Yeah.
So, So this is the intro to the music channel, to the songs. I hope this is something that continues to grow over the years, and I hope this is something everybody listens to. And also, the goal is, if you find a song that you feel like resonates with you, share it. And if you feel like there's a song that connects with a friend or a loved one of yours, or somebody to say, hey, listen to this song. I heard this song and I just wondered, does this speak to you, or how does this speak to you? Because that becomes a conversation piece. It becomes a tool to really help people to understand. Because I play these for people like, yeah, that doesn't reach them. I'm like, okay, how about this one? I'm like, oh, now that one reaches me, So that's the value of songs, is, again, giving people different ways to feel connection.
For sure. Now, the music channel will be on YouTube and Spotify. Anywhere else?
Just have to see. I don't Apple. I think Apple and Amazon also have their music. So so it should be on those as well.
So people should be able to find it.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead back to the music and play ourselves out on the rest of Emotional Algebra, the unplugged version, and
making equations of our troubles, we'll find our solutions lie inside. Working hand in hand, we can enjoy the emotional ride. Dr. E shows the way, let your insight be your guide. Yeah, we'll calculate the moments, help your knowledge amplify. Using love times logic.
So for everybody listening, keep the faith, keep listening, and until next time, we're going to play it out to the end.
Dr. E unlocks the secrets for every man, woman, girl, and boy. Emotional algebra, where the heart meets the math. Finding purpose in each emotion, we can walk a united path. Power times emotions equals more than you'd believe. Listening to the wisdom of our host, Dr. E.